Okay.
we very well may have been living in the city at the same time, JP.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, and I love Austin, but to be honest, it's just not. I've seen the town change, or the city, I should say,
Mm,
change so much since I first landed there as a just a wide-eyed 18-year-old from San Angelo, Texas, who had never really lived in a big city. And Austin, especially compared to
yeah.
Chicago, cannot be considered a big city. But for
Well,
me, it was
yeah.
it was a big city, but it was weird and it was quirky and it had funky artists and Richard Linklater was making films there and Soderbergh was, kind of kicking around and actually
Mm,
I met Soderbergh when I went to LSU and it was just one of those towns that was just had a really cool vibe and the live music scene was amazing and it's unfortunate, in 2025 it's just lost all of that
oh,
magic,
really?
all that weirdness.
Uh, we
It's
haven't
just
been
become
back there
gentrified and
since we left,
yeah, I
which was
mean
like
all
13
the
years
cool
ago.
people took off, man.
Yeah.
That's
See,
what
we
happened.
loved it. It was just our situation. We couldn't stay there. Like my wife was not liking her job and the weather. It was too hot for her. But
Did you
we
meet your
had
wife in Austin?
no. We met in Chicago, and then
Okay.
after we got married, we didn't really have a honeymoon plan. So we were like, you know what? Let's just move somewhere. So we decided on Austin.
Yeah, I seem to remember that you guys did do that. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
knew you before you'd met your wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and I remember, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a cool city for the longest time, and then it just there was these influx of really, really wealthy people that just they loved Austin, but let's try to make it a little bit like where we came from, which is mostly California.
Yeah.
And
So like more corporate than like
yeah, and it became like the
yeah.
Silicon Valley of the central South, part of the country, and a lot of tech jobs, and Elon and Joe Rogan lives there now, if I'm not mistaken. And
Oh
His
yeah.
comedy mothership, yeah. Though
yeah,
I mean not Austin, but Dallas for a while. I think back, and I'm talking back in the 1960s or 1970s, used to be like essentially the tech capital with Texas
yeah,
Instruments, IBM,
yeah,
so on and
TI,
so
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
Right, right, right. That all moved
yeah,
out. Well, at least not moved out, but Silicon Valley, San Francisco came in. But
yeah,
you're right. A lot of people were trying to quote unquote escape the taxes of
yeah,
California, like
yeah,
Musk, and they just
yeah,
start doing like these like they essentially messed up the standard of living in Texas now that everything's so expensive over there now
yeah.
because
I
of
mean,
them.
it's like anytime really, really, really rich corporations move into a place, it makes everything else more expensive. And
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not an economist, so I can't tell you exactly why that is. All I can tell you is that I've noticed it, and it just seems to be just the way it goes. And I think it's because you have these really, really super rich corporations that move into an area and they just kind of they're like an army, a medieval army. They have a train of people that follow that army,
Hmm.
that are just sort of that support the army that aren't necessarily fighting in the army, but it's like camp followers. And Austin just kind of fell prey to that. And there's people that can make legitimate arguments that good things happen to Austin because of it, and I'm
Hmm.
willing to entertain that and debate that. But overall, just for me, the city that I loved it just seems spiritually diminished because
Hmm.
of the changes that have happened over the past 15, 20 years. But
Gotcha, gotcha.
that's just me. That's
Well,
Mm.
just my
let's move
opinion.
a little bit happier tone. Oh, I think we lost JP again with this video. Matt, you have got to
Mhm.
fix your video, man. I swear. All right, there he
My
is. He's
my
back.
oh, I guess I can't leave the app. Shit.
Yeah, he's using his phone, guys, as you guys can tell.
Nice.
But
Okay,
I
yeah,
do want to
yeah,
Innovator.
ask
yeah,
some of
yeah.
these. So I did a little bit of my homework, did a little bit of my research on the roles that you've done. You were in sorry, so you were in The Walking Dead. I'm just gonna name off the ones that are like the biggest ones, obviously. Walking Dead, 12 Years a Slave, Django Unchained, Spider-Man Homecoming. You were in that too. Free State of Jones, Let's see, which one is The Purge? You were in The Purge. Now,
Yeah.
for a lot of these
True
movies,
Detective season 1.
True Detective,
Nice, the best season.
You were also in
Oh,
Jack
yeah.
Reacher as
Okay,
well.
Jack Reacher is a throwaway. I just was doing a favor for a casting director friend of mine. I had like 2 lines, and she literally needed to fill a gap that night. So
Really? All
that
right.
that that
So
doesn't really count.
Your name
But
came up.
True Detective season 1, I'm actually quite proud of.
Oh,
Should
okay, all
be,
yeah,
right.
didn't you do
as you
Talk
two
about
should.
that.
roles in the same episode? If I'm not mistaken, two
No, I
different
had 2
roles.
different roles in 2 different episodes in that.
2 different episodes. Okay,
Yeah,
Okay, so you were
that's right.
two different people. Interesting.
yeah,
Uh,
totally. Yeah.
NCIS New Orleans, if we're going back in that route too.
Mhm.
I'm sure my dad likes that because he's the one that kind of likes these dramas.
Yeah, my
But
mother loves those too.
I do want to say, aside from Spider-Man: Homecoming, to be honest, I think Gabe would talk more about that because I don't remember that movie. Um, but I do want to say a lot of these movies, they definitely casted you as like um evil guy or bad
Mhm.
guy,
Yep.
especially 12 Years of Slave.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I believe that might have been like the one that I absolutely love the movie and everything like that. But you played the real life person that essentially captured and sold the protagonist.
Yep.
Oh,
And
jeez.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, which was Solom Northrop. Solom
Yep.
Northrop, you sold him up. Your guy's name was what was it? Actually, you can
James.
explain.
His name was James Birch, and Solomon was lured by 2 of my agents from Saratoga, New York, on the promise of having a musician's gig because he was a very accomplished violinist to play in Washington D.C. And they took him out on the town in Washington D.C. and they drugged him, and he woke up in chains. And my character was the guy that told him he was no longer free, that he was now that he wasn't even who he said he was. He gave him a different name, told him he was from Georgia, and that he was a runaway slave. And then when Solomon didn't accept that, he beat the living shit out of him. And if you actually read the book that Solomon wrote, out of all the beatings that he took over his 12-year period of being enslaved, the beating that he took from James Birch that first time was the one that was the most psychologically traumatizing to him.
Damn.
And the thing about that, shooting that scene, is we only did 2 takes, and the first take was interrupted because of a technical issue. And the second take, and just to kind of set it up for you guys, we were filming this scene in an actual, and we were in the French Quarter of New Orleans, and it was an actual a room that had been used as a slave quarter, slave quarters back in the pre Civil War days. And Chiwetel Ejiofor sold being beaten by me so convincingly that after that scene, we finished. I went out into the courtyard and I threw my guts up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't have anything else to shoot that night except for like 1 or 2 little moments with the children, which I managed to pull myself together and do. And it was not until about 4 days later that I saw Chewie again. And I had been having bad nightmares after that. And it wasn't until I actually talked to Chiwetel about that scene and like how it affected me, and that he kind of assured me, he was like, man, we're just acting. We just, this is what we do. If you're going to resurrect a monster, fucking make him the monster that he was in real life. And, it wasn't until then that I was able to kind of let go of that, because I'm not a method actor, and I'm not the kind of actor that just like throws myself into a role so much that I forget who I am. But he is such an amazing actor himself that it felt like what I was doing to him was real. And it's very rare that is something that happens to you as an actor, It
Right.
just it's an unusual thing.
Yeah, you don't
So
realize
yeah,
that as a
that
fan
had a
watching it.
big effect
Wow,
on me.
that's
Um,
crazy.
Damn.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Oh
guess you don't
man.
realize
yeah,
that as someone who just watches movies that really well acted scenes could actually have an effect on the people like in the scene.
yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I
that's
mean, I think
that's
some of
wild.
the best actors that we watch, and like I said, they're not all method actors. I mean, there are some very notable method actors out there. I mean,
Hmm.
but you know, there is a kind of a closeness to the material and the story and just the acts of human violence, and that's it. And it can be completely the opposite thing. You could do something as an actor that's very profound in a very joyous way that makes you feel fucking great for days after, you know. Um,
Hmm.
but that's like it's just being connected to your material, and I think a lot of that also happens to to depend on your partners in the scene and also the director and the source material and the fact that this was that we were telling a story that was real, that this actually happened. It's I've only done a few films in my life. Free State of Jones was another one where I played I played a real person, or I should say I played a character based on a person, a real person who existed, and had a full real life and a story, as opposed to like a fictional character, And I find like I don't know that that's necessarily that necessarily makes a difference, but it certainly doesn't diminish the impact in any meaningful way. So, but yeah,
Mm.
I despise the character that I played in that movie, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I've only watched that movie one time in the
I
theater.
Right.
haven't I haven't even
It
seen
might
it
be
yet.
it might be tough to see you again. You've
No,
never
dude,
seen the movie,
it
Gabe?
No, I can't. At some
Me
movies,
neither.
like you just know you ain't got the energy to watch it. I don't have
it's an
the.
incredibly hard movie to watch, man. It
Yes.
really
Yeah,
is.
Hmm.
It's an
Yes.
yeah.
incredibly hard
It's
movie to watch.
incredibly hard. I think Steve McQueen did an amazing job just kind of showing just sometimes the banality of evil too. Like it would be like the strangest scene.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like it's just a
Michael Fassbender in that film blew me away because that's exactly what he did. He showed you just how banal
Mhm.
evil can be and exploitation and just this. It reminded me of Ray Fiennes' character in oh come on, Schindler's List.
Right,
I was gonna
right.
mention that movie.
How
Yeah.
he wanted so much to sort of identify with this Jewish girl that it was his servant, and he obviously in love with her, but he had this putrid loathing inside of him as well that just sort of was a wall that kept him. Now, Michael Fassbender's character, in my opinion, was even worse because, well, I don't know if worse is the right description, but equally as disturbing
Right.
because
He was a
Hmm.
bad represent, or I should say he was a representation of like I guess the South, the whole like gentleman
yeah,
South type of thing, but he really obviously wasn't. He was just
well,
selling another slave and he was like, "Oh, I'm so
he
sorry I have to do this."
yeah,
It's crap.
yeah, and Benedict Cumberbatch is sort of looked on as the benevolent slave owner.
Right.
I'm pouring some regular bourbon now, boys.
Go ahead.
Um,
Thanks.
he was looked on as like the benevolent slave owner in that film.
Right.
But the thing is that there's a lie there. There's an insidious lie there because there is no such fucking thing as a benevolent slave owner.
Right.
You
Correct.
you cannot hold another human being as property
Hmm.
and be viewed in any way, shape, or form as benevolent. You know, you might even try to describe them as a lesser of two evils, but they're fucking evil. You know,
Right.
they're evil.
Right. Yeah,
So,
we
you
got a
know,
chatter that says amen there.
yeah,
Real quick though, I mean, and their characters are one thing. I think the one that was, I mean, pure evil, but he knew who he was Paul Dano's character, who
oh yeah,
was the
yeah,
slave owner that basically was using
He was an
the
overseer.
he was
wasn't
the
an owner.
overseer. Yeah, yeah,
He
he
was an
was
overseer.
right. But
And
he was the overseer that essentially was using the songs that the slaves were, singing for hope against them, which I think was the most powerful thing. And
yeah,
going back to the banality thing, I think Zone of Interest was another movie that actually really, really was all about that. That like you have a family essentially living next to a Holocaust encampment,
yeah, yeah,
or and they're just living their lives while you have screaming. Steve McQueen in 12 Years a Slave showed that with it just looked like a nice it just looked like a nice like atmosphere scene, but in the background you're seeing like a slave getting whipped, you
yeah,
know, and there people are just going about their days. Like it was
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. And there was
Um,
this brutality that was happening all around, and it was so accepted. And that's it. It's like, how did the Nazis do what they did? Well, I mean, why ask yourself that question when you can look at your own history, your own people,
right.
years before the Nazis ever did what they did, and it was a completely accepted thing to brutalize, to rape, murder, humiliate, mutilate. I mean, some of the things they did to these slaves, the devices they put on their bodies, you
Yeah.
know, in Free State of Jones, Mahershala Ali, you get introduced to his character in the very, the first time you see him in this movie. He's got this iron collar with these long spikes that are meant to prevent him from sleeping properly, and obviously running away. And he managed somehow, inexplicably, to escape, but he had this device on his body, which was literally just forged and manufactured to hurt and torment a human being. So, like, there's they're doing these films. They kind of give you a sense of reflection on what men do to one another. I often think of a quote from the film Fury. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Fury.
That
I
was
have.
the tank movie
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
Brad Pitt.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
wasn't a big
Shia.
fan of that movie, but that's a different story.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely, I love that. I love that film.
Yeah,
But
that
anyway, it
was
doesn't
good.
matter. And films are subjective. The point
Right.
is, Shia LaBeouf says to Norman, the new kid, he's a clerk that gets, literally promoted to being the assistant tank driver because they had lost their tank driver. And Shia LaBeouf looks at him at one point and says, "Wait till you see. Wait till you see what they can do." And he goes, and Norman's like, "What? What do you mean?" He says, "Wait till you see what a man can do to another man."
Right, right.
And that's like, that doesn't just apply to war. It applies to everything. It really does. I mean, it does. It applies to everything. It's the depth of depravity and cruelty is pretty fucking deep. And when you tell stories like this, it does kind of jar you, which is kind of why I was so shaken.
Hmm.
Wow.
I have to say I'm not really. I don't. Well, I really really want more comedy in my career.
And actually, let's transition a little bit to that because speaking of comedy, though, and it's bit of a good transition though. You were also in Django Unchained,
Yes.
and this was a bit of a comedic role. I know you were still the bad guy, but
Yeah.
you were the KKK member whose wife basically sewed and
I
cut the
was.
holes and made the mask for everybody, and
I
you're
was. I.
basically the
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah, go ahead,
I was Willard.
I
Willard.
remember
Yeah.
this.
I
Yeah,
actually played two different roles in that film as well.
Oh, really? You were only credited for Willard.
Mm. Yeah. I also played a character. Quentin names every single character in his scripts. Every single one. Doesn't matter if they ever get on, credit.
Right.
But there were several. James Remar, if I'm not mistaken, also played two different characters. There was a few of us that played two different characters. I also played Jesse Redmond, who I never got credit for because there was never any reason to give me credit for it in that movie. But I did play Willard. And then if you notice in the big house gunfight scene where I
Yeah.
run like the doors open and the first guy through gets shot in the stomach, and it's like, I called it my blood baby because Quentin loves to use giant squibs full of blood.
Right. Yeah, he
My
does love
stomach
that.
explodes with blood, and then I'm on
Yeah.
the ground, and then I'm just getting shot, and I'm getting shot by Django. I'm getting
Oh
shot by my
shit!
own guys, and I keep going, "Stop shooting me, you
I
sons
know
of
exactly.
bitches!"
You were that guy.
I was that guy as well. Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
great.
I,
Yeah,
That's
my
great.
dad loved
see.
that.
yeah,
He
yeah,
laughed
yeah. I
so
was the
hard
one
at
who
that
poured
part.
water on Kerry Washington when they pulled her out of the box in the ground.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I remember that.
That was Jesse Redmond.
Jesse Redden.
Wow.
Okay.
That was
You
the
in
name.
IMDb you were credited as Willard, but like that other scene I
Yeah.
think would probably be even bigger because
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
Yadu just perked up, just woke up when he heard you're
yeah,
that guy. Yeah.
yeah. I'm that guy, and it's funny because like we shot that over 2 weeks. We kept shooting it over and over because the setups. Once you blow up all that shit, it takes a long time to reset, and we had multiple costumes because we had all these squibs, so like it took a long time to shoot that scene. And at one point, I remember laying on the ground with this just fake blood running down into my crotch, and like just all these squibs and smoke, and you could smell the smell. And Quentin's standing above me, and he's looking down at him, and he goes, "I shit you not." He goes, "We need to figure out more ways to shoot Chris."
No, yeah, it's great.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That the action in that
what's,
movie
What's
is
funny
gold.
about that too is that we shot the Willard scene in Simi Valley. We shot the big house scene in New Orleans, or it was in Louisiana. We shot the baghead, what I call the baghead scene in Simi Valley, California. And we were all kind of standing around, and Quentin was there, and we were all talking about that scene, the shootout scene. And I was like, yeah, it's just amazing that everybody died in that scene except for Django. And Quentin goes, wait a second. No, you didn't die, Chris. And I went, what? And he goes, no. The camera at the end of that scene is coming down on you, and you are the only one that's still alive in that scene. Now, it's possible that you might have died after that scene, but the two people left alive in that whole shootout were Jesse Redmond and Django. And I was
Nice.
like, oh.
You guys heard it here. This is lore. Straight
Oh,
from Quentin
nice.
Tarantino.
Yeah. And Quentin was very good about
Nice.
like that man has a steel trap mind. I mean,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Does
I
he
mean,
really
What-
have a foot
he
fetish?
remembers little tiny details from things.
What's the
it's-
biggest
yeah.
creative lesson you've picked up from him? You think?
Well, I
what's
mean, I think the thing that I love the most about Quentin is that he knows how to marshal a film set, and not just like the crew and he knows how to marshal everybody, because one of the major rules on a Quentin Tarantino set is that you check your phone at this. Literally, it was a place called Checkpoint Charlie. Your smartphone goes to a person who puts it into a plastic bag, puts your name on it, and puts it in a bin. So nobody on set has a phone. Nobody on set is doing this. So we're talking to each other, and we're getting to know each other. And so
Oh,
did we lose
sound.
you?
Hey, your
Uh-oh.
sound's out for a second. All right,
Yeah.
try.
Yep.
Try talking again.
Your sound's out.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost it. We still see you, but
Video
your
is up.
sound.
It's just the
We-
sound. Sound is down.
We see you fine. We just can't hear you.
We see you fine. Man, those
Well, I
Django
was trying to
scenes.
figure that out though. Yeah, I think he ignored that question from you, Yad.
I don't know if he heard it though. He said it. He said it very low. Good, because that's how you get demonetized. No, I'm just kidding.
There's other
The feet
shit
thing.
we could
Like, I think it's already known because he wrote in his script to like, did he suck on her toes? Like
yeah,
he,
bro. He's like
Yeah.
drinking tequila or something off her foot.
yeah, that's wild. That's
Then
wild.
casted himself into that role. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Even
Are you
my
back,
cats.
Chris? Nope. Doesn't sound like. How did he lose his sound so good? I mean, he was just
Maybe
getting
he's-
into
Yeah.
something real nice. We were talking about Tarantino. What did Tarantino's like? I don't know.
It's because my video's finally working. So something else had to break.
Of
The
course.
internet recently were trying to really attacked Tarantino recently. I saw
Really?
several memes attacking him, claiming that he's corny. Oh, we can hear you now.
We can hear him. We can hear
No.
him. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, now
We could-
Yeah.
Oh,
now we can
maybe.
hear you.
Oh, maybe it connected to like a Bluetooth or something. I don't know, something different.
Yeah. All right.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd that happen?
Okay. So did you hear my point about Checkpoint Charlie and the fact that he did not give you, you did not have a phone on set?
Yeah.
You did not have a phone on set. Yeah. We
Right.
were there.
Nobody was doing that. Okay. So what happened was we talked to each other, and the thing about Quentin Tarantino is that he knows everybody, like down to the lowliest lowly extra. And I don't consider extras lowly. What I'm saying is like
I get what you're saying.
an extra that might just be walking past the frame. He knows their names.
Wow.
And it's like he's got like a photographic memory. So, and he makes everyone feel part of it and included. And I've never worked with a director that was able to just rally everybody. Like, 'cause we were shooting 14, 16, 17-hour days in the Louisiana sun, 105 degrees, 95% humidity, all of us wanting to die. And he would rally us and say, "Why are we doing this, everybody?" And everybody would go, "Because we love making movies." And he would be screaming it with us. So,
Aw.
I can't tell you how. Look, whatever I don't know. A lot of people have different opinions about Quentin because he worked with Epstein and whatever.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't really want to get into that. 'Cause it's just,
I think
it's
his
all
gripe
really-
is that he writes himself saying the N word in many movies, in several movies. It's
Right.
like he does it often. And
I
you know
thought
what?
it was pretty funny in Pulp Fiction.
Well,
Yeah.
look,
The fiction one was very. I mean,
It wasn't necessary.
Was it
for him.
gratuitous? Yeah, but I thought it was fucking hilarious. I mean,
It was
I liked
definitely gratuitous.
all right.
well, I
It
mean,
was funny. His voice is funny, but it's like okay.
It's like when they had
Nick.
Werner Herzog use the N word in the Boondocks. That shit was
Yeah.
funny as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, look, I'm not gonna criticize anybody for feeling like that's unwarranted, and the truth is that is a hurtful.
Did you have to drop some N bombs in 12 Year Slave?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. I mean, he was the main bad guy essentially in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I never actually dropped it in Django, but I had to drop it in Lovers and Slave, and Steve made me drop it.
Oh no!
He made me emphasize it.
Yeah. We
Is
can.
it
We
true
can.
that
I was
Leo
actually
had a
going-
problem with using it in Django. Is that true? And
No, he didn't use it in
Samuel-
Django.
No, he did.
No,
Leonardo
he
DiCaprio.
definitely said it. He
Leo did.
definitely-
No.
Chris
I
did
heard
it.
he had
Chris
a
just
problem.
got
Didn't-
shot.
Samuel L.
I
Jackson thing, he
never
had a
used it
problem.
in Django, but I've had to use it before, and I don't like it, and I've actually turned down roles, since then, where I was playing just a blatant racist, and I've literally told my agent, "Look, I've done this.
Yeah.
I don't, I played that guy, and I'm
I'm
not
getting
I'm not-
typecasted as a white
yeah, I'm just
supremacist.
not interested in playing, like it's like, look, I do believe that it was in 12 Years a Slave especially, I was serving the story's purpose, right?
Right.
And Paul Giamatti and I had a conversation about this in the same sort of vein. It's like we both agreed
Paul Giamatti.
we despised our characters, but we were serving the story's purpose.
Right.
And
Right.
it was a story that we felt people needed to see.
How is Paul? Does he seem like old money?
No, he was actually quite down to earth and genuine. I kind of felt he was kind of relatable. I kind of liked Paul.
Interesting.
I remember thinking to myself, I would like to actually play with Paul in a film where our characters actually interacted, because in 12 years we were in completely different geographical settings, so we never actually worked together.
Right.
Oh.
And we're talking Paul Giamatti, not Paul Dano, which is another.
Oh no!
Paul-
I never
Paul-
actually. I met Paul at the table read for 12 Years a Slave, Paul Dano,
Mhm.
and it was only just a brief, so I can't even speak to what kind of a person.
Because
he
to be
was,
honest, like
but
Dano
he
is
was
another
nice.
guy that Yeah, he's a nice guy from what I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's also one guy that was always typecasted as like kind of a bad, like, sniveling, kind of conniving person. I think
Mm.
only after his
Paul
role
Dano?
in Her, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is when he kind of got out of that role, and then he was in Dumb Money, which was a good movie with him. But before he
Yeah.
was always just like the one person you wanted to punch. From that
Yeah,
to
yeah.
There Will Be Blood was also, I think, one of his biggest roles too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah. No, he was great in that film. He was great in that film. But it's funny because some of the fucking nicest people that you'll ever meet play horrible fucking bad guys. And some of the people that I mean, especially growing up in the 80s, 90s, actors that always played good guys and heroes that I just thought were fucking amazing, and I actually got a chance to actually meet them, and you're like, wow, you are a fucking douche canoe.
never meet your heroes, is what they say.
Yeah,
Never meet
Which
your
yeah,
Yeah.
heroes.
yeah.
Like The
wait,
Rock, The Rock right now is now getting flagged because that guy is also kind of a bit of
Someone
a
says he
diva.
sucks to work with
Right.
because he just makes everything about him.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And like
yeah.
Dave
Like he has
Bautista, on the
characters
other
written
hand,
around him. Like apparently Black Adam, which I never read like source material comics for Black Adam, but apparently like nothing like that in the comics. They basically just wrote the character that he wanted.
and he
yeah.
still
There
has his
is.
he has his contract. Yeah, something like that. I mean, he does that for everything. He has a contract for Fast and the Furious that he cannot lose. Well,
Yeah,
same with
yeah,
Vin.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't there like a clash between him and Vin Diesel, like where like
Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
It was a
Yes.
it was a clash
We're
between
making
two
more of
divas.
those?
which is just fucking just so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes no sense.
So
They're
that's why
making a
we
lot.
should always be talking to villains, because the villain actors are always the nicest guy, because that's acting. You're
Yeah,
basically
It
yeah.
acting
is.
around something that you aren't in real
Well,
life, you
Yeah.
know?
well, it's funny because
I don't know about
the
that.
man who convinced me to become an actor he was a professor at a small state university in Texas called his name was Raymond Carver. He was actually a Princeton grad. He was a playwright by trade, but he became a professor. And he convinced me to become an actor. And he called me up just a few years before he died, and he said, why are you playing all these bad characters? You're a sweet guy. You're a sweet boy. You have such love and compassion and empathy. I know this about you. What are you doing? And I'm like, Raymond, I'm earning a fucking paycheck. This is what I'm getting. You don't get
That's
to
what you're being.
choose I mean, when
Yeah.
you're a blue collar actor, you don't get to choose the roles that you're given. You have an audition, you go out for it, and you play the fucking role. You can
Right.
give them, you can turn them down, but you very rarely get a chance to choose the role you want to play.
So
That's the
Do
thing
you,
about
do you
A-list.
That
think
is
there's
that
a
is very
reason?
true.
Do you think there's a
Think
reason
about-
why you get cast that way? Is it like background or like, no, this guy's from Texas. Let's put him in this role.
yeah, I can see
I'm
why
assuming,
you'd be.
I'm assuming it's looks. I'm assuming it's looks, basically.
Do
Yeah.
I look like a bad guy, guys? Honestly,
Yes. Yes, you
seriously.
do.
I mean, if I do, please tell me.
Makeup on. Yeah. Put a bunch of
No,
makeup
but I
on.
mean,
Boom.
I
Yeah.
can. I absolutely can. Like, once again, revisit my characters in True Detective season 1. The one character is one has suffered a mental event, a cerebral event, and he's very much disabled. And then the other character is an obvious, complete fucking meth head out of the and the woman who did my makeup for that particular role was Matthew McConaughey's makeup artist, this wonderful woman from I think she's from South Africa. Her name is Fizz. This is older woman, but she's amazing, and she made me look like a fucking freak. And the thing
Nice.
is that I'm a chameleon. When you look at, if you go to my IMDb page, you can look at different photos of me in different roles, and I fucking look different every single time, and that's actually a good thing. But,
Right.
But normally, just in my just me looking at me right now, I don't look like a fucking killer. I just look like a dude in a hoodie sitting on a funky couch in a weird room in New Orleans or Covington, I should say. So the truth is that it's the reason I play the bad guys is because most of the time the bad guy roles are the ones that are open, because the good guy roles get farmed out to the guys who have a little bit flashier agent that lives in New
Mm.
York or Los Angeles.
Dude, I
And
remember
if you
you in
look
True
at my
Detective
resume
now.
compared to the guys that are playing the good guys and the quote unquote leads in like the TV shows or whatever that I play in, I've got a much better resume than they do. But it doesn't matter. The point is, it doesn't matter how good you are. None of that matters. What matters is, number one, usually how good looking you are, and number two,
Who you
what
know?
kind of agent you've got. If you've got
Yeah.
Right.
an agent, an agent that's a flashy agent in LA, they're able to fucking negotiate that shit for you. Now,
Wow.
that shit I think is changing because there's so many more ways to do media nowadays that paradigm is shifting. But for the longest time, it was almost always about being better looking, being taller, being a little bit more well represented. And that's
Nice.
what it boils
So
We
down
got
to.
we got a
brings us.
Hey, Chris.
real
Yeah.
quick. We got a question in the chat real quick. Chat asks, what types of roles do you prefer?
Well, I would love to play comedy, and I don't get
Comedy.
to play comedy very often. I almost
Were you-
never get to play comedy, but
I guess Spider-Man
funny character.
Homecoming I think would be a little bit comedic because you were there, right? What was your role in Spider-Man Homecoming?
Well, here's the thing. I was one of the Vulture's
He was
henchmen.
antagonist. Yeah, he was in.
You're
Yeah,
one of the
Yeah.
henchman.
Vulture's henchmen.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is that it really shook down to like 4 different characters that were underneath the Vulture. Then you had the Tinkerer, you had the Shocker, you had the Vulture, who is the main bad guy,
Right.
and then you had the guy that was the Shocker before the Shocker became the Shocker, and I was the 5th guy. So there was this one moment I remember. One day we were on set, and it was Michael Keaton and Matt, the director, and Bokeem and the guy that played the Tinkerer, and me, and we're all sitting around a table and we're talking about this scene we're about to shoot, and I just kind of laughed because a thought came into my head, and Matt looked at me and he goes, what are you thinking? And I go, well, it's just kind of funny because you've got the Vulture, the Shocker, the Tinkerer, and Randy.
Mm-hmm.
And they all started laughing, and I'm like, they're like, what? Because my character hadn't even been named. That script was so secret, guys. They didn't even give me the script.
That's so
I didn't even know
Marvel.
what I was going to be shooting the day I was gonna shoot
Really?
it. No.
MCU.
I
That's
had
how they
no idea.
roll.
Half of
I've
it
read
Don't
was
they
them.
also have to
ad-lib.
be like especially careful with Tom Holland because he's always leaking shit.
Oh, I know. I
Every
mean,
time Tom
it-
Holland does an interview, he like
But he-
leaks something.
He's so excitable. I mean, yeah, dude, honestly, he's an infectious character. You meet him and you automatically love him. But Matt was like, what do you mean? What, Randy? And I'm like, I just named myself because you guys didn't name me. And so I literally, if you look up my name, Randy Vale, Marvel
I
Universe.
looked it up because I was like,
that's-
"Who did he play in Spider-Man: Homecoming?" And I was like,
It said Randy.
"Oh, he was the guy
yeah,
who wasn't
Randy
the
Vale.
Tinkerer or
And
Shocker."
I literally, I gave myself an identity in the Marvel Universe. They didn't
Why-
give it to me.
And it's stuck in IMDb, by the way.
Yes, it's
right
stuck,
there,
and-
Randy.
And if you go to if you go to Marvel Wiki, it's Randy Vale, and it gives
Yep.
the backstory of everything. I gave that to myself in that moment on set.
You affected the
I
canon.
literally just was like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
fuck it. Who's gonna?
That's
you
cool
know,
shit.
I mean, who's gonna? The least they could do is just say, yeah, no, never, we're not accepting that. But if you look at the credits of that, movie, I
Oh,
mean,
Randy.
There he is. Chat, if you guys are seeing in the thing, Randy Vale, right there. There's our guy right there, as evil as ever with the hat.
Randy
We
Vale.
we got to get you a comedy role, man. I want
Yeah.
I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, yeah, man, I love comedy. My friend
You could argue
Sean, the
him
one
getting
that-
shot a million times is a little.
That was funny. That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
That's my dad's favorite fucking part of the movie.
Yeah.
The fact that Tarantino was like, how much more can we shoot him? I
Yeah,
think
we
was
gotta
hilarious.
figure out more ways to shoot Chris. I will never forget that because I'm literally on the ground with. And here's the thing about fake blood, when it's in your crotch, Boys, if you're gonna sit with that in your crotch for 12 hours, you're gonna have problems.
Oh no.
You're gonna have problems.
Oh god, I
Yeah,
can already imagine. Like probably
yeah.
dries up pretty
That
bad.
It's
that
I
is
don't
one
not
want
thing
good.
that people
anything.
don't realize
Not good.
about like movies is like the amount of hours you have to put into it, like in a day.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, and the thing about it is, film crews, especially. I mean, I'm talking about the
mhm,
juicers and the grips and the makeup artists and the everybody that works on a film crew. They work their fucking asses off, and they
yeah,
do it every day, 13, 14, 15. Like once you wrap out, they're not done because they have to zip up their stuff and they got to get everything done and like these juicers have got to coil their cables and the grips have got to put all their equipment away and the makeup artists have to clean the actors up, and get their makeup off, and if they have
yeah,
prosthetics they got to take. So it doesn't end when they say, okay, it's a wrap. It doesn't. Everybody's working
oh yeah,
overtime.
hmm,
So, like, it just, and I've never seen more hardworking people. And I'm not saying that oil field workers or steel workers or whatever aren't hardworking people, but
Hmm.
it's most people don't understand what it takes to bring them their daily entertainment.
Right.
They just don't
hmm,
Right.
get it. It's incredibly labor intensive, and there's a reason why these people are they have been asking the producers to just pay us a little bit more, and
yeah.
be a little
Right.
bit more
There's
equitable.
so much money. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they make incredible amounts of money just by all what they do is pull together finances and and make to make something work. But and I agree that's something that's a skill, that's something that they should be compensated for. But it's like any other industry. People who produce need to be compensated for their work.
100%.
Because
But
Yeah,
Right.
the one thing we all really we all kind of love about my industry is that it's the legacy of storytelling that human beings have been doing since we sat around campfires, 12,000 years ago. It's
hmm,
literally just it's a arc of that. And sometimes, man, you just need to come home from whatever job you're working, and I mean, and just literally peeling your ass for. You need to be sit down and crack a beer and put on a show and just have your mind kind of taken away for a little while.
yeah,
It's therapy. You know, um,
yeah.
mm,
and it's a
hey,
valuable service. It's not
Because
brain surgery. You're not curing
yeah,
cancer.
I
You know,
I have a
because
question
I
for
I
don't
you.
think
was
I don't think
go for it,
celebrities
Gabe.
should be. I don't think celebrities should be lauded the way that they are. I really
Hmm,
don't. Which is
Mm.
why I'm fucking fine with not being famous. But the craft itself and the what it is, and I feel the same way about music because I'm a huge music fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like musicians, artists, painters, people who create, they should be appreciated because you know if we can't have these things in life, then what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
yeah.
You
exactly.
know? If
That
So
we
is
hey,
try
true.
to,
Chris, my question for you is: I know that you studied at
I'm gonna get a
LSU
drink. I'll be right back.
under John Dennis, and I saw that he died back in 2012 of
yeah, God rest his
January.
soul.
So I wanted you to like kind of share a little bit more about this person you studied under, who's kind of popular in teaching actors, and so
Well,
I wanted to
the
know.
thing about JD was that we were we as first year students at LSU, the professional actor training program, we all kind of knew how big of a deal JD was. This man was Jack Lemmon's acting coach for many years. Jack
Mm,
Lemmon,
Wow.
who in my opinion is one of the greatest actors that's ever been. And he was
Hmm,
not an actor himself ever. He never acted. He was never on stage. He was never on film. And the thing that struck me the most about being a student of JD was that he could see into you and find the weaknesses that you needed to work on and the strengths that you needed to exploit and bring out. in a way that I've never seen another acting coach in my entire life be able to do. We had this thing at LSU called, in the first year students, and the second and third year students used to tell us about it. And they were like, wait, because in week 5, he's going to give you the audition from hell. And what the audition from hell was, it was and it was a very small conservatory style acting school, the professional actor training program at LSU. So there was only 9 of us in our class. And each day there was 2 of us. And it lasted over the course of about, a week and a few days. Excuse me, guys. And what JD would do is he would put you through the ringer. He would tell you, he would give you your monologue and say every other third word. He would say, do your monologue lying on your back on the ground. Because we'd have a prepared monologue. He would say, do your monologue with your back turned to me, but make me feel it as if you were looking at me. So what he would do is he would put us through these permutations of things that we didn't have any idea how to respond to. We just had to work through it. And what he was doing was very much, I think, similar to what drill sergeants were doing, would have done with soldiers, recruits in boot camp. He was kind of breaking down our preconceived notions about what acting was and who we were as actors or who we thought we were, so that we could kind of shed a lot of these sort of insecurities and preconceived notions and sort of be open to the things he was going to teach us. And then I remember at one point he was teaching, he was talking about Chekhov, the cherry orchard, and he had a plate of cheese in front of us. He was sitting on the stage, and we were all kind of in these bleachers, in this classroom, and he was sitting on the stage, and he had this plate of cheese, and he was like, what is it like to eat cheese? And we had a whole class on what it was like to eat cheese on stage in front of a group of people. And I know it sounds completely inane and just sort of like irrelevant and weird, but I learned so much in that 60 minutes of watching this man eat cheese, because I never thought about it, but there's just little details about how a human being will be talking to another human being and eating, and he was like eating the
Like I'm
cheese
doing now.
aggressively at one moment and eating the cheese threateningly at another moment, and I'm like, holy shit, there's so many ways to eat cheese. He was in his way one of the most brilliant men I've ever met. And the thing about JD you have to understand is that he was older when I studied with him. He was the only way I can describe him is corpulent. He was a very large man, very, very large man. He was an alcoholic. He drank gin. He had the gin blossoms,
which we don't support, guys.
No, of course not. Cheers to that.
I'm noticing a pattern with a lot of people who
drinking
talk about
pills.
great mentors.
But
They're they're alcoholics.
But yeah, right.
Every great mentor has their flaws.
Yeah, my dad's
he was
favorite
he was
mentor,
absolutely
alcoholic.
flawed. But that's the thing is he never shied away from his flaws, and he never tried to hide them.
So he kept drinking in front of you guys, huh?
No. He didn't drink gin, but he did at parties. He would have parties with his partner, and we would go to his parties. That's where I met Soderbergh for the first time at one of JD's house parties. But he was corpulent, and he was like I said, he had the gin blossoms on his face, and and he had a very strange, very soft, feminine voice. But everything about JD, it just penetrated, like the things he said, he was an amazing person to study with. And the thing is, I only attended the first year at LSU because After Paradise Falls, it was actually called Paradise Falls at first. It became Carolina Low later on. At the time I was married, and she was also in the program, and things didn't work out, so I left and she stayed, and so I didn't continue to study with JD after that first year. But even just that 1 year that I studied with him had an amazingly huge impact on my acting career and on how I approach the craft of acting, because he literally put some things into my mind that changed the way I look at the craft of acting. And I thought I knew a lot before I met JD, and I realized when I met JD, I'm like, wow, I'm just learning this shit. I am just figuring this shit out.
Well, cheers to him, man. I know
Cheers
he's
to
an
JD.
alcoholic, but still.
Cheers to JD
Well,
from
he's passed, but
LSU.
may he rest in peace.
Yeah,
God
rest in
bless him.
peace. He
in
passed back
peace.
in 2012, I think in January of 2012. So
Yeah.
the end of it.
I have one question from a viewer.
Another
I
one.
don't know if this might be a little controversial and stuff, but he does ask, what was it like working with Jamie Foxx in Django? Going back to it, and it's because
Why controversial?
I think did Jamie Foxx had an incident that time.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can say that I didn't talk to Jamie that much.
Okay.
Jamie seemed to be very, very busy. And like, okay, the two times that I worked with him, like I said, I played two characters. I played Jesse Redmond, who was an overseer on Candyland Plantation. So I started working with Jamie from the moment we started filming the scenes where we were traveling to Candyland, and Django and Jamie had a lot of interaction, and I was just sort of in the background with the other overseers that were riding with him. And during that period of filming, I just didn't really have that much of a interaction with Jamie. I did observe Jamie at times kind of, I'm going to say, holding court in between takes. Like, he would kind of riff with the other actors, and particularly the kind of the more A-listers, Leo and all that. But I didn't really talk to Jamie much.
Right.
I might have, so I can't say much about Jamie other than I admired his work. I thought he did a fucking fantastic job. He never rubbed me wrong, or I never thought ill of him.
Right.
But
right.
I just never really had much of an interaction with him.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
when we got to the big house and the shit went down and the firing and stuff, there was a few times where I was like, after the scenes, where he's shooting me and shit, and I'm like, just like, we're kind of standing around, and I might have found myself near him, and I'm like, man, you're just shooting the shit out of me, and he just kind of big grin, and was just like, well, man, you're in the way. And so, but that was really the main interaction with Jamie. I didn't, I didn't really, I was never able to get a good handle on Jamie, other than the fact that Jamie just seemed to be riding the wave of being Django,
Right.
And,
right.
and I, as who I was, I couldn't really get I couldn't get my arms around what it would be like to be Jamie Foxx. I do know the horse he rode was his own horse.
Damn.
Oh, really?
I
didn't know that.
And it was God.
He's like, it's okay, I got my own.
Gorgeous horse. Gorgeous horse.
Oh wow.
He's an,
Of course he
he's
has
an
horses.
equestrian, apparently. All right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm an equestrian
Nice.
too. I mean, I grew up in
Nice.
Texas. My great grandfather
Nice.
was a rancher.
And real
Been
quick,
riding
just
horses my whole time.
the other questions I also got from a few people, which is all the how does it work. So let's just go really quick though. From everybody from Django and Chang, I would say Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Samuel Jackson. Did you interact with any three of those?
Well, yeah. Here's one thing I can say about I didn't interact much with Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
I did have a few just brief interludes with Christoph Waltz, but here's one thing that I will tell you. There was one day I was sitting on my horse, and I saw Quentin from the other side of the set. He was like way on the other side. And here's the thing about Quentin is like, you guys remember that movie with Adam Sandler where he played a guy that he got a lot of money, and John Torturo was the servant.
Yes.
And he was very
Big Daddy,
sneaky.
or no, not Big Daddy. It was something like that though.
No, okay,
Yeah.
but John Torturo's very sneaky, and all of a sudden he's there.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino was like that. Quentin could be across the set, and then all of a sudden he's right here, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, one day I'm just kind of idly waiting for lighting to get set up or whatever for a scene, and I feel a hand on my thigh, and I look down, and it's Quentin, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And he goes, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you, we were flying to Acapulco this weekend, me and Jamie and Christoph.
Acapulco,
We're watching
nice.
dailies, and there's some dailies of you or of the travel from Greenwood or Greenville to Candyland, and it's you don't have any dialogue, but it's just you on a horse. And Christoph, when he saw you on screen, he pointed at you and he goes, that guy, something about him. I'm looking at him and I just can't stop watching him. It's just something interesting about him, even though he's not saying anything at all." And I'm like, "Really?" And Quentin's like, "Yeah, Christoph said that about you, and I just thought you might want to know that."
Aw.
And I was
Oh,
like,
sweet.
"Holy shit!" And I literally almost felt myself floating off my horse. I was
That's
I was
cool.
so happy.
Did they already
Yeah.
script that you were going to be the one that gets shot a lot before or after that?
Yeah. No, that was already that was already in the works.
Okay. It's like Christoph
But-
Waltz chose you to get shot.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, let's kill him."
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I guess the thing is that Quentin didn't have to tell me that.
Right.
He
Yeah.
literally came out of his way to tell me that, and
Aw.
I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. That's actually
Mhm.
really fucking cool. Like, I
Well,
mean,
we-
I'm nobody. I was nobody. I was just a fucking glorified extra in the Jesse Redmond role that I played. But Quentin,
Come on,
Actually
you're not
came-
a glorified
because
extra.
I'm fucking Christoph Waltz is a goddamn legend. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus, the dude's he's
Well,
amazing.
You
Yeah,
get
you gotta think
speaking
about-
lines
like,
though.
when you're a director, it's got to be hectic 24/7 for you, and to have the wherewithal to actually go and tell somebody that's
It's quite a lot.
that's, yeah.
He literally took his time out of a very hectic day to come just say, "Hey, man, Christoph Waltz thinks you're kind of magnetic and cool." You know?
Nice.
I mean, that was fucking awesome, man. It literally made me so fucking happy, you know.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to do that, and so yeah. Once again, whatever you say about Quentin, I'm always going to be on his side.
We'll always
Nice.
say he likes. We always say he likes feet.
I
But-
love his movies.
We have another chat question
That's
here.
fine.
Sorry. What comedy films would you recommend from chat?
Man, I think my favorite recently, and it's a dark comedy because I tend to gravitate toward dark comedy.
Because you're a
is
villain.
Don't Look Up.
Oh, that was
Oh, no.
that was screwy. Yeah, that
Because
was
I
rough.
honestly think it's relevant, but it's so
It is.
fucking funny, but it's also so fucking dark.
I was stressed out by that movie. I wasn't really laughing.
Okay, what
to it.
was
I
the movie?
like,
Sorry, I
Don't
missed
Look
it.
Up.
It got cut out. Yeah.
Don't
Don't
look
Look
up.
Up. Don't
That
Look
was
Up.
great.
Oh, Don't Look Up. Okay.
That was
Mhm.
good, and that was at a perfect time too. It was,
Yes,
the timing
it
of
was.
I
like,
mean,
yes.
it's incredibly relevant to where
Not
we are
listening
as
to
a nation right
scientists.
now, because
Like where Leo, it just blows up on people like on live
Yeah.
TV. You're just like, that's how
Yeah.
we feel
Yeah.
every day. It's just like,
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
but
but
it's
the-
like
you guys not seeing.
Right.
it's like, but
Yeah.
he's like, no, but you don't understand. We have the data. We have the data. We have the
Mhm.
science.
Yeah.
This is there's no. It's not about opinion. It's not about how you
Yeah.
feel.
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah.
giant fucking asteroid gonna hit our planet and kill all of us. You know,
Mhm.
like, but it's incredibly funny because like there's that one point where Jennifer Lawrence is just sitting there going, he's a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Why did he charge for snacks? He charged for the snacks. He
Yeah,
took money for the
I remember
snacks.
that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, it's like I love movies that like are kind of a little bit dark, but that are at the same time it's just you have to kind of laugh because the way I see it right now is the only way I have been able to sort of cope with the fucking madness of where we are right now, literally where we are,
yeah.
is that I have to imagine that we are all living in a dark comedy. You know, I don't know
Way to
whose
put
dark
it.
comedy it is. I would love to meet this person because I want
Right.
to punch them in the fucking throat.
You
But,
said you
Yeah.
loved dark
Brothers.
comedies.
It's a, it's a quote. I'm gonna be a little bit nerdy here, but there was an awesome quote for a great video game called Nier Automata that just says like, I hope we meet this God that created us, so we can one day kill him or something like
Yeah,
that. It's like
Jeez.
yeah.
that
I
fucking
mean,
dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Chris is the
it's-
gamer too, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
Poochie,
Nice.
I'm
What
a
you play?
huge gamer.
We-
I'm a huge gamer, man.
Oh, let's
Really?
let's
Yeah.
change tags. Let's get each
I
other's
just finished
tags.
my
we can switch topics here. Okay, someone
Yeah.
just mentioned Idiocracy. Idiocracy is also a great.
Oh,
movie.
man.
That
Yeah.
movie
Idiocracy
was
would've been
so
my second.
frustrating.
It would have been my second.
No
So
way.
because it's so true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Well,
hated that
the-
movie.
The thing
Well,
that's so
prophetic.
the thing that's so fucked up about Idiocracy is that I
was
watched
too
it when
stupid.
the first time I watched it. It
It
was
was
a
too
fucking movie, a dark
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
movie.
now
and
it's a
now
documentary.
now it's a documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Come on, guys. They were trying to
Time-
build.
No,
They were trying to grow crops.
I
for
love you.
Gatorade.
Yeah,
The
I
first
love
time
you.
I watched
Yeah.
Idiocracy, it
Oh,
was
you
kind of like,
you Costco? Oh yeah, I got my law degree here.
Electrolytes.
Of course you get. Of course
It's
you
what plants
Like,
crave.
Like when I
electrolytes.
get
Plants
headlines,
crave-
Guys,
from
he's got
The Onion now,
electrolytes.
I don't know if they're real or not.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
man.
Sometimes I'll get like an Onion headline on
Look,
Instagram, and
Alexa, stop.
it could be real or it could not be.
No, but
I
that's
know
what's
why-
that's what's fucked up about the Onion is that it ceased to be a comedy fucking
It's
just
real.
source anymore because it's
Yeah.
just it doesn't matter. anymore.
Michael
Actually,
Che,
they-
Michael
it's-
Che,
it's-
in his last
it's in
special,
Chicago, by
he
the
was
way.
talking about.
Oh, I
he was
thought they
talking
were in
about how he
Wisconsin. I
meets-
thought they were in Milwaukee.
Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure they're in Chicago.
In
Or I might be
Idiocracy?
thinking. I might be thinking the Cards Against Humanity. They're in Chicago. I know. that.
Cards Against Humanity is in
Yeah, they are.
Chicago. Yeah, they are.
Michael
yeah.
Che
Yeah.
from
I thought
SNL
the Onion was
Weekend
Milwaukee.
Update. He had a bit in his last special where he was like,
I think you're right about
I
Milwaukee.
meet
Yeah.
kids and they're like, I get all my news from you. I'm like, nigga, you don't know shit.
Jesus
Right.
Christ! Every time I go to the Wikipedia, it always just like flashbangs me. I gotta go dark mode. Okay, real quick, just to get myself like here, fact checking here, real life chat checking. It was founded in Madison, Wisconsin, but it is
Okay.
headquarters in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
oh, okay.
Yeah. The Onion.
So we're-
yes.
we're-
The Onion is in Chicago. It was founded in
We're
Wisconsin.
in between it.
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Close
Alright.
enough.
No, I saw a headline today that was like not. It was like they're doing 3 slides, and the first slide is 100% real. The second slide is like half real, and then the third slide is fake. So by
Yeah.
the third slide, you're like, oh, thank God, it's a joke. But then you
Right.
look up the first 2
Yeah.
slides, and you're like, oh.
Oh.
There's a Reddit channel called Not the Onion. It's great because they'll post headlines and you're reading it. You're like, oh, am I reading the Onion? It's called Not the Onion. You're like, oh fuck, this is real. Like, it's like shit.
I like with the article that the Onion they have in the Wikipedia one. Bush, our long national nightmare of peace and prosperity is finally over. These guys were wizards though. Oh,
What
man.
about JD? Everywhere he goes, something bad happens. He was right after the Pope.
Oh
he
my
went to
gosh.
the India,
Yeah, they're saying it's like the world tour from hell.
and then India bombs Pakistan. What's up with that?
Oh my god.
Like,
Yeah. They're like,
I'm
my-
still
100% J.D. Vance killed the Pope. I'm just saying
I
it right
can't.
now.
Get the fuck away.
I still can't get my mind around JD. It's like I don't
they
understand.
say he's a curse. He endorsed his brother for I think what was it, like mayor of Cleveland or some shit,
And he
lost
lost over
like
it.
3%.
phenomenally. Yeah.
Dude, this is the crazy thing. People in Ohio, and I'm from Ohio, I know they don't like him. It's just that he.
Nobody
There's
likes
like a
him.
few gullible fucking idiots. who
Right,
like
right. I mean,
him.
the thing
Like
is,
the
like,
same dude who
Trump-
like JD Vance.
Trump won
Or
Ohio.
not JD
It
Vance.
wasn't
Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek
Swami,
Ramaswamy.
yeah,
No,
who was actually
no.
from the area I used to live in, actually, where my parents
Apparently he
still
wants
live.
to run. Where does he want to? He wants to run for mayor or something.
Immediately, like day
Oh yeah,
one.
no, that was
Yeah,
awesome. That was.
It was hilarious. Yeah. You don't hear about
that
him
was-
anymore. I guess he probably does a
No.
little bit of like
I
correspondence here
think
with
he
Fox
announced
News or
he
whatnot.
wanted to like
Yeah.
run for mayor of Cleveland or something, and everyone was
what-
like,
that's what-
LeBron should run, so he just loses fantastically.
Yeah,
Because no one's
LeBron's-
gonna.
LeBron wants to still play with his second son, though, so he's waiting for his second son.
No,
to play.
no, LeBron.
serious?
I
Oh,
thought
no.
LeBron announced retirement last night, or he said he might be announcing retirement.
Did he? Did
LeBron?
He? Look this up.
LeBron might be
No,
retiring
that'd be
this-
breaking
Oh, no.
news. That'd be breaking
That'd be
news.
big news. I would have.
Dude,
heard
it
of
was
that.
maybe it was AI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
no.
yeah. All I say is LeBron news.
said,
I,
don't
yeah,
have an
exactly,
answer.
exactly. I Google
So I
LeBron
don't-
news and
someone
it
asked
didn't
him
show.
how much longer he's gonna play, and he said, "I don't have an answer."
Well-
I'm
You
telling you,
could
he's
do
he's
it.
waiting until his second son
His knee's
gets
all fucked
professional.
up right now.
Wait,
He
his
is.
second
I
son is
Bought
gonna
that-
go,
I almost
bro?
bought that LeBron Barbie.
Supposedly, his second son is actually like the more talented one than Bronny.
Dude, the
There's-
LeBron Barbie's being resold for like $150.
You're gonna buy it. You're gonna buy
How
it.
much? Wait, how much are you gonna buy the Barbie for? $40 or something like that?
No, it's like 80
Well,
to begin
I mean,
with.
apparently we're only allowed to have 2 dolls, so pick your
Oh,
two
yeah.
wisely.
Yeah.
You can only have 2.
What do you mean we can only have
You can only
two?
have
Four
2.
pencils.
You're not allowed to have more. You can't.
Wait,
have
where's this
30,
come
for
from?
fuck's sake.
Wait, look at these dolls I got it. I already broke the
And-
laws.
and I don't even
They're
know
gonna,
how-
they're gonna me.
I have no idea how many pencils you motherfuckers are using, but
my
you
God.
can't
Yeah,
have
both
250.
those,
You can only
both
have
of
5.
those interviews were fucking crazy. They were.
Yeah. If anybody in the chat doesn't know, Trump basically people were talking about the high cost of or reporters were talking about the high costs of everything, and he starts talking some random shit about how women or girls should only need $2 or something like that because
I
Baby
forgot
girls of
how,
11 should only have $2. They
Yeah,
I
shouldn't
forgot
have
how
$30.
crazy. I forgot how crazy it was. Like waking up every morning to something new during his first presidency. 'Cause I
No.
was what?
I did not forget.
I was like,
I did
I
not
honestly-
first
forget.
presidency. I was
Having to look
between
at
the
that
ages
shit.
of 12 to 16.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
He-
A lot
he's
of people
like,
had amnesia. People
yeah,
just
Chris,
forgot.
Chris,
They're
if,
just
if
like,
you haven't realized, like our age group is right now is like I think JP's what 45 or something. I just turned 39. Happy birthday
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Oh yeah, happy
Okay.
belated birthday, dude.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
guys. Thank
good,
you.
Good. Wait a
Yeah,
second.
and
Wait, when did you turn? When?
Saturday,
April.
May 3rd, May 3rd, May
Okay,
3rd.
I'm April 29th. I just turned 53. So I'm the oldest, I
Nice.
think.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
I'm the old man.
Yeah, we have the
we are
youngest
both
Yadu.
Gen
Who,
X, though.
Yeah, you
Gen
guys are Gen
Xers.
you guys Gen
Yeah,
X.
we're
I'm
Gen
like
X. Yeah, yeah,
beginning millennial.
You
Gabe
guys
is tail end
created.
millennial,
You guys created
and you
emails.
just turned 21 in October
Thank you
last
for
year.
that.
Right on.
Thank you. Thank you for creating emails.
But let's
There-
go
there
back to
was a
gaming.
great-
You guys
Yeah, yeah, let's go back to gaming.
Nirvana. What are we talking about?
Gaming,
Yeah, let's go to
gaming.
gaming. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What have you been
Okay,
playing, Chris?
I-
Tell me
So,
what you playing.
let's get the lay of the land here. What are the games that you play?
Okay,
Yeah.
I just finished Assassin's Creed Shadows
What?
playthrough.
You played through
Love
it?
that game.
How
My
long was
favorite
it?
video game of all time is The Last of Us.
The Last
Parts
of
1 and
Us.
2.
Oh, I was gonna
That's
ask
good.
how
Oh.
you,
It's
a good
if
game.
you like The Last of Us as a gamer who's been in The Walking Dead.
Oh
Yeah.
god. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing about The Last of Us that I love, and I love
Right.
it about the show too, and I love that they made the show. But here's the thing about The Last of Us: they made a post-apocalyptic, apocalyptic kind of fucking dystopian thing that's sort of based on the zombie trope, but not entirely, but solidly in that kind of category. But they made it sort of plausible. You know,
Right,
using
the-
the, co- the,
the
using the
fungus.
the cordyceps, fungus.
Yep.
So you're infected. You're not dead, you're infected, and so the fungus takes over your body and grows it and uses it and
Right.
whatever.
I'd like to add a
But
side
so
note.
I
That's
found that more plausible than any other scenario, and
that's
so
something I
that right
loved
there was
about
a
the
solid trope.
series.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
I
ahead,
think the
Gabby.
series was awesome because that scene they added, like there were scenes that were in the
Don't talk about
series
season
that.
2 yet.
Oh no, I haven't even started season 2. But
Okay.
I was just watching.
in the
No, I
first
haven't either.
season, there was shit that they had that they didn't have in the game. Like, okay, we'll have the scenes in
I did like that.
Jakarta.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
I
yes.
love
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
That scene was it
Yeah.
the opening scene of the first episode with
Yeah.
Josh Brenner,
Yeah.
and they have him
Where he
interviewing
kind of
the scientist. I
explained
thought that was awesome because
global
that set like a
warming and the fact that
precedent.
it's
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was fucking amazing.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
funny. That was my
It
favorite
just
part. Like I
explains
play,
the
I
whole
played,
thing
No,
happened.
I
played, I
love
played
that.
The Last of Us, but when I saw the show, my favorite episode was that first episode, especially when you
Yeah,
had the
yeah, no.
Jakarta scene when the ladies
Yeah.
literally like bombed the whole city. Like that was
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
like it
yeah.
was straight up like Chernobyl type
I don't
of
know, I was
situation.
But I mean,
talking
Scientists
to-
won't normally do that.
what the show gave you that the game didn't give you
Yeah.
was a plausible idea of how it
How this
all
happened.
fucking came to pass. And so
Right.
because the game just gives you one night in Austin, Texas, where just shit just goes to shit.
Right, right.
But
I
I
mean,
don't know exactly how it happened, but it just but what's great is I have found that I've never seen a show based on a video game that's ever like actually been sort of a symbiosis of the two things that play off of each other in a way that's beneficial to both. Like
Right.
if you've never played the game and you watch the show, you could play the game and be like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. If you've never fucking watched the show but played the game, you can be like, holy shit, this explains more than the fucking game gave me. And so like
Yep.
I feel like it's very successful in that way.
There was
I
also there was
love
also
that.
some
They build
changes
off
they
each
did
other,
that
yeah.
I think they did some good changes that I think
Dude,
was
episode
better.
3 with the love story, that was like
Yeah,
a
Nick off-
cinematic
Nick-
experience.
The
That,
Nick
That was
Offerman stuff.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
To be honest, in the game, I was like, okay, this guy was really just a tool for you to get the car, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like in the movie, they actually was like, this
Nick
is the love. And
Offerman,
honestly,
phenomenal
Well, in the
performance.
game, in the game,
Phenomenal, yeah.
in the game, it was very dry, and you were left to
Right.
sort of just infer this relationship. But in the fucking in the show, they were like, these two people loved each other, and
Right.
then they and honestly, I'm not a homophobe, so I have no problem with two men loving each other. So this whole relationship was
yeah, the only
actually
people who
fucking
didn't like that
awesome.
episode were people who hate gay people.
Yeah.
no.
There's
Remember, it's
always
Nick.
that. Those
It's also
trolls,
Nick
you know?
Offerman, who's the face of all libertarians, apparently.
Yeah,
Remember?
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep. Because of Parks
Which I
and Rec,
never
yeah.
really understood that, but yeah.
It's because of Parks and Rec.
Nick
Parks and
Offerman.
Rec.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
like,
think he's
every
interesting.
libertarian like fucking like loves the guy and like doesn't know this guy is definitely not for their cause. You know,
No,
he's
not
just
at
an
all.
actor. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
actor playing a villain.
And honestly, Nick Offerman is actually a very good friend of my best friend Sean Bridgers. So he's a friend
yeah?
of a friend. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. But I mean, I
If we-
love that fucking game. I think the game is fucking amazing. Another game that I really fucking love is Oblivion, and I'm not sure.
There it is.
I'm not sure that this remastered version is what I
Oh.
want it to be.
Oh, here's a spicy take. Okay, how come? Not enough
Spicy.
Just
No,
started it.
no.
I just got out of the
No. Oblivion
the
is,
dungeons.
dude. If you've ever played any kind of Bethesda game, you know that you
Well,
gotta
yes.
get that shit.
I played
You-
all
you-
of them.
Yeah,
Except
you know.
Starfield, I couldn't
Yeah,
finish.
yeah. Any Bethesda game, you're
It's
gonna get that
JP.
shit. It's the level scaling that's fucked up. It's like
Oh, I heard they fixed it.
you
fixed it.
you better find the main quest that you need to fucking find quick and do it while you're low level. Otherwise, it's gonna make your fucking game experience a goddamn nightmare.
Oh,
Here-
I see,
here-
I see
here-
what
we-
you're saying.
Just fucking gonna be. It's gonna be
we got-
horrible.
We got chat. We got chat saying the game crashed like 5 times on me. Immersion broken. Fuck Kavach.
Oh wow.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
yes, that. Yes.
Yeah. What's
I mean,
funny is
and
the game
God
only crashed
forbid,
me once.
and
By
God
the way.
forbid, if you get beyond level 10 and become a vampire, inadvertently, you are
Yeah.
fucked because that goddamn quest is such a shitty fucking quest.
Yeah,
It's
guys.
Wait, what's wrong with being a
shitty-
vampire?
It was shitty then, it's shitty now. It's
Yeah,
Being-
but
oh my
like,
god.
just a tip, pro tip for all the people in chat playing Oblivion. If you guys do encounter vampires, make sure you have what was it, cure disease. So before you turn full vampire, you can use a potion of cure disease, and it'll take that away from you. But
Yeah,
if you
but
turn
most people don't
vampire-
have it.
Exactly. If you
Yeah, and
turn
most people
vampire,
don't-
then it's too late.
That's the fucked up thing about Oblivion, though, is that you can sleep in the fucking wild, and you don't know. You have no fucking idea that a vampire ate you during the night, and so all
Ate
of a
you?
sudden you're like, the sun is hurting me. What is happening right now?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
you'll
Yeah.
you check your thing, and suddenly you have like there's a term, there's a word for the actual like disease that you get when you get
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all it takes is, and it sucks too. All it takes is you fighting a vampire. Like they don't even bite you. If they hit you, you get it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
Have you
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
have you been
Check
cursed?
'em.
Like, can you cure it or what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like what before it's like when you get attacked by a vampire, it'll say that you got this like disease. I forget what they called the disease, but if you had the cure
I think
disease,
it's like vampirism or something, isn't it?
no,
I
it
think
was
it's-
named. No, it was named something like specifically, like something hemo, something like like
Oh
blood
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's it's
Yeah.
yeah. It's a
So-
blood related name.
Right,
Oh,
right.
it's a blood disease.
So-
Okay.
So then you have to do the cure
called-
poison. Like if you have the cure,
Por-
cure thing, it'll cure it. But
Porphyric,
Yeah.
porphyric hemophilia.
there it is.
Oh,
You got
wow.
it.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
it is.
Quick
So
on
you
the
want
keyboard there.
to cure
Holy
that,
shit, yeah.
right? But you only got 3 days. So 3 of the video game days. 3 video
Yeah.
game days. If you don't cure it by then, you become full vampire, and then
Yeah.
you have to do like a long ass quest to cure that. So
And the thing is that
yeah.
you can actually there are ways that you can maximize the vampire power and be really good at being a vampire in the game, but it's just not fucking worth it.
No, it's not worth it. You can't.
It's just not
they
worth it.
convince you.
It's like,
yeah,
yeah,
that sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for a day until I start doing shit, and
Right.
wait till
And you only
night.
have you
Yeah.
only have a few
Yeah.
hours at nighttime to do stuff. Yeah, it's not fun.
It's just
Pro,
not.
pro tip for everybody
It's a
playing
typical
Oblivion.
role-playing game. Like if you want to role-play as a vampire, you could do it.
Speaking
I have
of
a question.
You
vampires,
realize, you know.
speaking of
Yeah.
vampires, Chris, did you see Sinners?
What's that?
Did you see
Oh,
Sinners?
I've been hearing good things about it.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Ah.
No.
It's a
But I
long
mean,
I
movie.
haven't
It's
seen
good.
it either
I
yet.
strongly recommend it. I strongly recommend seeing it in theaters because the sound design is crazy. Ludwig.
No, it's
Göransson-
good. Sound
Way
mixing
crazy.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of sound design. One of my favorite things about the new Dune films,
Yes!
I love Dune.
Sound is
Denis
amazing.
Villeneuve. It's the
the
sound
main
design
character.
in Denis Villeneuve's movies.
The main character's
are
the
just
sound.
Throat,
fucking
dude, the
It
Sar-
is.
Sardaukar
They're
throat
so good.
singing was awesome. I
Yeah.
love
Oh
how
my
they opened
God,
with that.
yes.
Yes, the deep bass. It's not.
Oh my God.
Did he
they're so
use Did he
good.
use the same sound designer that did Blade Runner 2049? Because I love the fucking sound of Blade Runner 2049.
I'll look it up.
I mean, I just.
let me
I
look
think,
it up.
I think if I could
Oh,
work for
it's
Denis
Hans Zimmer.
Denis
It's Hans
Villeneuve.
Zimmer. Okay.
Well, Hans Zimmer is a
Fantastic.
goddamn legend. you
So-
know?
No, Hans
speaking
Zimmer
of
said
Denis-
Dune. Sorry, he said Dune. But
He's making
yeah.
Rendezvous with Rama, which is going to be the most impossible movie to make. And
Dude,
I'm
Dude,
so
that
curious how he's
novel
going to do
is
that.
one of the best fucking science fiction novels of all time.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
it
everyone
is.
said Dune was unadaptable, and then he did it. So if
Yeah.
anyone's
He
gonna
did
do
it.
it, it's gonna be him.
He did it.
Yep.
He did it in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, he
in
did it-
my
Yeah,
he did
opinion.
it blew
well.
me away.
much better than David
Yeah.
Lynch's version. If you guys ever watched
Oh
David
no,
Lynch's,
look.
Is that the
Yeah,
one where
I've seen all
Sting's
the
in it?
versions.
Is that the one with Sting?
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Sting-
yeah.
yes,
It's the one
yes.
that Sting. But
Yeah,
here's
he
the
was
thing.
on.
Here's the thing. I think he did a decent version with that fucking film, but Denis Villeneuve took it to the fucking next level.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was like, "Here's how you
Like,
do it. Here's how you
I mean-
actually do
Look,
it."
here's the
I'm
thing.
a,
Here's
I'm
the
a,
thing.
I'm a
Like,
do nut job. Like I've
Oh
read
my
the books
God!
3 times.
What a fucking amazing
and,
set of films,
like,
and I can't wait to see the
it's like,
third
wow.
version.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. But
Yeah.
hold on, JP, hold on. So you read the book 3 times though, but have you seen
Yeah.
David Lynch's version, JP?
Yes, I've
Yes.
seen his version and the Sci-Fi Channel version.
Right. Sci-Fi Channel
And-
version was superior. I'm just saying that right now. David Lynch's thing,
Story-wise, it covered the entire story, which was great.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
Lynch's thing like took things way too literally though. Like he actually
Well,
had like a
he-
weapon to use my voice as the like
yeah,
what the fuck?
that
Yeah.
made no sense to me whatsoever.
Right, exactly.
The weirding way and all the bullshit.
Use
that
a
was-
device
Exactly.
instead of
A
using
weapon.
like a
that had
Goof
nothing
fest.
to do with the books.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
It
He was
was- yeah.
taking he was taking things too literally. That was the problem with
Yeah.
Lynch's
Yeah.
version, right?
Yeah.
Villeneuve though, like
Villeneuve is actually taking it
Yeah.
from the viewpoint of the politics
right.
of the whole thing. It's the Bene Gesserit against the emperor against
Against-
Wait,
against
Which is
the-
really the story.
spacing
the
Yeah.
land
Holden-
the land's
yeah.
rad.
The land's
Well,
rad.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
My one criticism
Guild.
of
Yeah.
Villeneuve's of stories so far, and I think he's going to solve this in the third film, is that he hasn't really involved the Spacing Guild, which
Oh,
is
I was just sorry, but
literally
yeah.
like if you
that
read
is-
the books. If you read the
Yeah.
books, the fucking Spacing Guild is a huge political fucking point. in the
Yeah.
Because
whole
they
goddamn
can
story.
shut down the universe if they don't travel. So
Yeah.
it's like they're the
And-
main
and-
player.
Like
Yeah.
they literally control everything in the universe.
That's true, but
as far as
I
travel.
don't know if maybe he just didn't know how to handle them because like both the Sci-Fi Channel version of it and David Lynch's one, like especially the Sci-Fi Channel's version of the Spacing Guild is the most ridiculous motherfuckers. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen that clip of them. It's like, who are you to tell us? And he's like, the dude's doing this, and then he does
Yeah.
this again.
So
Like, it's
think
so
about like the way the book describes them. They're these humans that have been deformed by spice, living
well,
in a tank
not
of
deformed,
spice.
evolved by
Evolved.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
And
no,
so-
like, well, the
No,
navigator,
that's-
the navigators are, but they
the-
still had other
uh,
people that weren't like
A
that.
third, yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's the thing about the guild is that you start out as an apprentice navigator and you go through and you get spice. You
live in it.
inhale the spice and continue
Yeah.
to fucking be, trained by other guild navigators, and eventually you fucking evolve into something that it does not resemble a human anymore.
Right.
No.
But you
it's
are
like-
able to
Yeah.
do what humans can't do, is you are able to fold space, and that's the whole point
Mhm.
of the guild, is that
Right.
they're able to fold space, and it's folding space is literally
Yeah.
like it's a quantum concept. It's
And they're able to see
you're
the
able
future.
to connect with your quantum point on the other side
So-
of space. That's
and
what they
they're
do.
also
They fold
able to
space.
see the future.
Frank Herbert called it
Yeah.
folding space, but
Yeah.
it's literally just quantum entanglement. It's like
Right.
I'm going to connect to my next point in space without
Yeah.
going through a supernova or
Yeah.
an asteroid field or whatever.
Yeah, but you
That's
you
what-
gotta
that's what
you
they
gotta
do.
remember, like Frank Herbert also wrote the book not really caring about the science of it all. Like Dune
Yeah.
is a character
I mean-
story, like through
Yeah,
and through.
yeah.
It is. You know,
Yeah, but
Yeah, it
you
is.
can't. Okay, I'm gonna push back on this a little bit, bud, because
right.
he actually did have Frank Herbert did have a good solid grasp on science, and he did have a good idea of about he was very interested in the science of black holes and wormholes and the whole idea of transcending space that didn't give you the Star Wars version of hyperspace,
Right.
and the engines that would send you in. His whole idea of just transcending interstellar travel was literally about going from point A to point B instantaneously. So
Yeah.
it wasn't about quantum engines or ion
Right.
engines or any of that.
That's kind of where I'm getting at, is that he knew that in his books, if you get like a little too muddled in the tech of it, you start losing like the plot of what the purpose of the book was.
Well,
you know,
his
Guys,
whole
side note,
point
this
was
one's
that
not
like
lime. I found a grapefruit one.
his
you found a grapefruit
entire
one. Good job.
his entire kind of worldview was that there was an entire fucking war against technology.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
against the
Butlerian
thinking
jihad.
machines, against
The Butlerian jihad, yeah.
the Butlerian jihad, against AI. Like, I
Right.
mean,
Yep.
I think Frank Herbert was actually kind of fucking revolutionary in his idea that he created a whole world that recognized that thinking machines, AI, were going to be the enemy of humanity. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of fucking
That's
prescient.
very
Well,
it's very prescient. Yeah.
Well, I will probably like push back a little bit about that because, like, yes, no, actually, I should say this. Yes, I agree on that part, but I think the most of the point of the Dune series and the Dune books was mostly about, organized religions, essentially, like, the whole point of him being the Messiah and everybody killing for the Messiah. That
Yeah,
is,
but you're talking about
Paul-
that in terms of the Bene Gesserit, because the book
Bene
that you're
Gesserit
talking
was the
about,
religion.
the
Yeah.
book, the very first book you're talking about, is literally being fucking framed within the framework of Paul Atreides' mother being a Bene Gesserit, setting himself up
They're
for
the-
being
they're the
Prince Haderach.
To be the prophet. Yeah.
Well, hold on,
The
but it
whole
was also
thing has been
after
set up
he
like that.
became the prophet. But then after he became the prophet, then you had the following genocide. What was it called? The
But-
following jihad that they're gonna do in
Yeah,
Dune
jihad,
Messiah. The what?
Shit,
Yeah.
we might get
Yeah,
demonetized for saying jihad. I don't know.
No, we're
jihad.
talking about Dune.
No,
It's- so
No.
so
no,
so
no,
the,
jihad
no,
is,
no.
jihad is a
someone who's like,
perfectly normal word.
the jihad was something he couldn't really control once he
No,
went
but
down the
that's
path.
that's the thing is like
Well,
once Paul Atreides became the emperor, because he
Kwisatz
did,
Haderach.
he became the emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit fucking fell to pieces because of Aaliyah
Yeah.
and his sister, and Paul literally fell down into a smaller space when his son actually fucking merged with a goddamn sandworm.
Yeah, and then he becomes the
Yeah.
God
Like,
Emperor
it-
Leto.
like,
yeah.
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 What's,
He went down the golden
yeah.
path.
Spoilers for anybody
Yeah.
that
Sorry.
hasn't read the book.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
waiting for part 3. Sorry.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
I don't think they're gonna. I think he said he's only gonna do Dune Messiah. I don't think he's
But
gonna
yeah,
go to
he's
Children
gonna
of
leave
Dune.
it up to other people after that.
thing that people don't
Right, okay.
understand, the thing people don't understand about Paul Atreides, in the movies, even in the Villeneuve movies, they don't understand that Paul Atreides is not the fucking hero.
Right.
Nope.
He's
No.
the
Anti-hero.
he's the fucking villain of
Right.
the whole
He's-
fucking
he's-
thing.
I don't know if he's
But-
a villain. He's
but-
more like an anti-hero.
Yeah, well,
And a
anti-hero
villain.
is a great way to describe him. He is the anti-hero.
Yeah.
He's not evil, but he's not good either. There's
Right.
nothing good about what he's
Yeah.
bringing to the
He
universe.
takes advantage of the religion created for him.
Right.
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 So,
Which,
Good,
you know,
JP.
which is
Yeah.
funny because like he actually
Yeah.
like in the movie was talking like how bad it was until he ended up using it, until it ended up being his tool, right? And the
Well-
only change they did was Zendaya's character Chani, and Chani was a little bit changed because I know like
Yeah.
in the
People
books
know
and
about
also in the
that, and
Lynch
I was
thing,
like,
she was just
fine,
kind of like
yeah.
an attachment, right? I think what they did to her, she was basically, I guess, a tool, not a tool, it's, so much like a character for the audience to be like, what's going on right now is bad, by the way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think Chani was like, they used Chani's character as like a literal, like, this is bad because there's going to be people.
No. I think
I get it.
I think you're entirely right. I think you're absolutely right. In Paul Villeneuve's or Denis Villeneuve's
Denis Villeneuve, yeah.
in his movies, what they're using Chani is as an indicator
A
that
guidepost.
Paul is not what you should think he is. The
Right.
Yeah.
hero.
Right.
Because when
He's
I
not
walked
the
out of that
hero.
movie, and I was talking to people who have never read the books, and I said, "What did you think of Paul Atreides?" And they were like, "Oh, he's a hero." I'm like, "No." I'm like,
You didn't get it.
You think that now? I'm like, you didn't get it. You didn't get like he turned into he went from Anakin to Darth Vader in that movie, and you totally missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Except
guys
the
just
Star Wars,
yeah.
it was literal. Which, by the way, I really,
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
one
But I mean-
sidetrack real quick. Episode 3 apparently made a ton of money over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
But
Hayden
JP
Christensen showed up to one of the showings.
He did.
Yeah.
I thought he
But
hated
J-
that role.
but,
Well, no, he
but
said
JP,
like
if
it's
if,
been
if there
embraced
is
so much by fans recently
Yeah.
that he's actually starting to love it. Or
Oh,
he's like he's re-found his love for the character after like I think people were very harsh on the prequels when they came out. Maybe because they came out like before I
I
was
agree.
like.
actually, it's
But
because
when
they
I
were.
watched them for
it's
the
because
first
they were
time, I loved
bad.
them. I thought Darth Maul was fucking sick. I
Oh.
don't know. I liked them a lot.
Well,
I don't
they
know if it's a
produced the
generational thing.
best soundtrack, I believe, was the Duel of the Fates. Is by far the best Star Wars.
Dude, I knew how to play that on violin
Music.
back
well,
when
dude,
I was like
I mean,
musically
is-
if
talented.
you're gonna ask what the best Star Wars spin-off or film or whatever, it's
It's Andor. It's
no,
Andor.
No. Look, Andor's fucking awesome. I love it.
Yes.
But, oh, for fuck's sake, what is the
Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One. That's the best fucking film.
I loved
no,
it.
No.
Mm.
Stop. I'm not talking about spin-off movies. I'm not talking about fucking series. I'm just talking
Yeah.
about the fucking spin-off films. Rogue One is solidly as someone who loves fucking film.
Right.
That fucking film is the best of all the Star Wars films.
Okay, look, I'll push back a little bit about this because yes, I'm gonna say out of the
Revenge of the
spin-off
Sith
movies,
is the
it probably
best
is the
movie.
better one. But Rogue One was incredibly frustrating for me, and it was
Okay,
frustrating.
well, let me
There was
ask
a
you this.
well, hold on. So like the things that were frustrating was that you can tell there was like a change of guard when it came to like because there was a difference in directors. Gareth Edwards was in it, and I think they had to finish it off with someone else.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm
And
with
can
you.
tell
I'm with you.
there was some stuff that just made no sense. Like okay, Forrest Whitaker's character. I fucking loved him in Andor, not in Rogue One. In Rogue One, he was just a crazy dude, and he has a tentacle monster
No,
for some
he was
reason.
fucking.
like-
He was psychologically fucking fucked, and he was done.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's
Like,
the
He-
thing.
he
why
was
can't
a
you
different
recognize
time.
that about him?
But you
like
would
a-
not
he's
know
like a
that if you
leftist
didn't
of
see Rebels
space.
or you didn't see
No,
Clone
no,
Wars or
you,
something
you,
like
no,
that.
that-
Yeah.
I
That's
knew
good
that
acting.
about him in watching Rogue One. I saw a man who
Guerrero.
was fucking done.
So,
with
yeah,
life.
thank you, Yadu.
Saw
But yeah, no,
Guerrero, but he was in the Clone Wars and he was
I
fucking.
saw a man who
Yes,
was
and
done.
Rebels too.
I saw a man who was fucking ready to die.
but that's what I'm
Clone Wars-
saying.
I think Clone Wars really established like why he had that attitude.
Yep.
And
But
Yeah,
but
so the
here's
thing is, you
the-
don't even need to see Clone Wars
Right?
to understand him as a
Thank you.
character.
No, but the
Thank
thing is,
you.
the thing is, like, it didn't matter. Like, they just put out this tentacle monster for this guy. It just doesn't add to the story whatsoever.
No, it
That
does.
was
It
the
does. It
biggest
establishes
issue.
that he is the radical.
I'm not talking about the tentacle monster.
All
I'm
the
talking about-
rebels we've seen
Whoa.
before him in the movies are like these good guys, these symbols of hope. But Saw Gerrera is the radical rebel who crosses the line between good and bad.
But here's the thing.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Thank
saying
you.
is how frustrating the
you.
movie was for me. I'm not saying that it's frustrating because, basically what I was trying to say is this: the movie was frustrating because I love what they were thinking. What they were thinking was like, this is the rebel. I love the fact that there was a more radical rebel group and all that stuff. Like, there were so many pieces to this movie that I actually love, which I think Andor straightened them out a lot better, ironed them out a lot better.
Andor.
One of them, and this might be just the reason because of the fact that you had two directors and two like scripts really running
Andor.
around. Stuff just happened sometimes with like it's just like it felt more like fan servicey just being fan service, you know. That's the part that
No.
I just like the
Maybe not
execution
Rogue
was.
One.
There's a lot of
I'm
Star Wars
sorry,
films
I'm
that are
sorry,
fan
I'm sorry,
servicey, and I don't think Rogue One was one of them.
disagree with you.
No.
Rogue
I
One.
disagree.
Dude, they had a
The only I don't think Rogue One has any fan service.
No, the end scene is definitely fan
The
service.
end with
Very little
Vader,
fan
whatever
service.
you want to
No,
argue that
no,
is, but I think that's just
completely
Vader
disagree.
being Vader. That's not fan service. That's just
It is
Vader.
fan
No,
service.
the Vader scene was actually the best scene. Like that was like, oh, they made him fucking scary. I
But
get it
fan
now.
service can be
So
good. I'm a fan.
There
Service
can't
me.
be any more
Man.
fan service if there's no reoccurring characters. Like
Well,
all of those were
Grandma-
new characters.
How about this Grand Moff
True.
Tarkin being CGI?
Okay.
Grand Moff Tarkin being CGI was
Yeah, okay.
so
Crucial
can-
to
good.
the
You
plot
didn't
of the
need it
Death
there.
Star.
Can we just
Tone it down.
can we lower down
back.
for a second?
Sorry, Chris.
Agree.
This is our typical
Oh yeah,
when
that's
we're
how it gets
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
You should have seen the tariff week.
10:30. Yeah, when we're
Yeah,
at 10.
I know.
Tariff week was fucking nuts.
Everybody's at a high degree. Look,
Oh, yeah, we're definitely at a high
look.
degree. All right, go ahead.
look.
We got that
Rogue
from
One-
Dune. How did we get that from Dune?
Jorge, stop.
I don't even want to. I don't even want to talk about Dune anymore because I honestly think that Dune, the first two Dune shows that Denis Villeneuve have done are fucking amazing.
Yes.
I fucking love those two films.
We are all in agreement on that one. Yes.
They
I
are
love those
amazing.
movies. I can't wait for the part 3 when he does Messiah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what
I
happens.
would love to see
It
what
get
happens.
delayed.
I honestly think
Did it?
Denis will fucking
No.
deliver because I do honestly believe that Denis Villeneuve is a goddamn great director.
Yes.
He's
think-
he's
and
at this moment, he's my most favorite director at this very moment. Like
Well, yeah, man.
He's number one. My number
I
two is
fucking-
Darren
I fucking love
Aronofsky.
him. I mean, who's the director of District 9?
that guy
Love that
fell out of
movie.
grace, though. I know what you're talking. I love that
no,
movie too.
No, wait, hold on. Don't tell me he fell out of grace.
Yeah. What is he?
What
what
is
is he
his-
talking
what is his
about? What
name?
is he talking about? District 9.
God damn it.
District 9 director Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah, he's
Blomkamp.
South African director.
No, he fell out
Yeah.
of grace is mostly because his movies, like after District 9, they like gradually became not as good. Essentially, Elysium was
Oh,
okay. Chappie was
Chappie.
then he also made like Gran Turismo, which
Okay,
was whatever.
okay.
Gran
Yeah.
Turismo
He
was
did
solid.
good.
He did not
Gran
make
Tur-
Gran Turismo.
I've been grinding
That
Gran
was
Turismo.
fucking
He
Clint-
directed Gran Turismo. Sorry,
No,
but yeah.
that was Clint Eastwood.
What?
That wrote
Yeah, Gran
it.
Turismo.
Gran Turismo. You're thinking of Gran.
Gran
Gran
Turismo.
You're thinking about Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood.
I love that, Chris. I love that, Chris.
Okay, whatever.
Oh yeah,
Gran Turismo.
the man through no name movie
We're talking
series.
about the
Have you
Gran
seen-
Turismo,
have you seen the
the
short shit
racing
that
video.
fucking Neil Blomkamp has put out? Like just
The
the
what?
shit, just
No,
just
the
the
short
fucking
shit?
volume of short shit that
Oh
Neil
yeah,
Blomkamp.
yeah.
It's
He was also-
fucking amazing. This guy the guy has a fucking amazing mind. I want to see more of his shit.
He was
Yeah.
to
supposed
see
to.
more of his shit.
I think he was supposed to do Aliens 4 or something a while back.
God.
No, he was
not
supposed to make, he was supposed to
I've been
make.
binging those movies and
the thing
I'm
about
good.
Aliens is that there's just not much more you can do with it.
Alien
It-
Romulus
yeah.
was good. Alien
No, like,
Romulus
seriously,
was
they're just not
that the new
much
one?
more.
good.
Look,
Alien Romulus is the most recent one.
okay,
That one was
here's
good.
my theory, guys.
Okay.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Listen.
The most that you can have done with aliens, after Alien, the film Alien, the most you could have done was done with the feeling with the movie Alien, where colonial marines just went and fucked up a bunch of aliens, got fucked up themselves, and had to fucking nuke the thing at the end of it. And that's the end of the story, and you're done with aliens. That's what I think.
No prequels.
Like,
no
I
Alien
don't
versus
think you should have
Predator.
taken it
Yeah.
any farther than that. It's just done.
Alien versus
It's
Predator
done.
was stupid.
You do
No,
know.
like, no.
They
And-
continue.
But it's Hollywood. I mean, they
So
try to milk
toys.
things.
No,
so.
no.
So
I really
no,
like
no,
the Predator,
no,
like the
no.
original Predator.
No,
movie.
no, you're talking to me from a point of a capitalist right now. I don't
What?
fucking give a shit what you have to say about being a capitalist and selling toys. What
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
is, as
Very true.
fucking as far as making films that
art
are
and
good
making
to
a movie,
watch,
Yeah, you gotta
you
end it.
did
at some point.
Alien. You did Alien, which was a fucking amazing fucking horror film, set in space, and then you did Aliens, which is a fucking amazing horror film, which incorporated a military version of a horror film set in space. And you're done. It's over. You don't
Yeah,
need to. you nuke the site from orbit. It's over. You're done. Don't do it
That's the
anymore.
story.
And they
Yep.
kept doing it.
Except David Fincher came with Alien 3.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
David
I know.
Fincher, the
Look,
same David Fincher that made the Dune movie.
yeah,
by the
dude,
way.
trust me. No,
Oh, by
David
the way-
Fincher. Oh, David
Yeah.
Fincher's a producer, but don't get me started on producers, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm wrong. God, I'm stupid. I just, why do I keep,
No,
I
no,
always
no,
keep
no,
mixing
I'm just
David
saying.
Fincher with David Lynch. I don't know why I keep doing that.
Well,
Sorry.
the point is, it doesn't matter.
Club.
Yeah. And which was an awesome fucking film.
Oh yeah, I love
Well,
Fight
we
Club.
were talking about directors, and I would put Villeneuve as my number 1 right now. My number 2
Yeah,
would
me
be Darren Aronofsky.
Me too.
Darren Aronofsky.
Because
Oh yeah, Aronofsky. Oh god, dude, have you ever seen fucking Have you ever seen
What?
Oh my god, it's one of my favorite
they're
fucking
so
films of all
like
time.
they're disturbing and human at the same time, and it's
Have
just
you ever
like
seen
they're real.
the not is it called The Well?
The
Not
Fountain.
The Well,
The
The
Fountain?
Fountain.
The Fountain.
That's one of
Have you
my.
ever
That's
seen
my favorite
Aronofsky's
movie
The
of
Fountain?
his. Yeah, I have that on DVD, and it's the
My
one DVD
God,
I
dude,
still kept.
that makes me
because
cry every time I see
every-
it. And the thing
yes.
is, here's the thing: I lost my
beautiful.
girlfriend of 19
Visually, too.
years.
Oh.
I lost my girlfriend of 13 years recently.
Oh,
from
sorry to
cancer.
hear. Oh, sorry to hear.
Thank and I think about this a lot. It's like
I could see how that
like,
relates, man.
when I lost her, or when she was diagnosed, I started going through these YouTube videos of near-death experiences and just sort of kind of trying to explore the concept of dying, right? Like what it is to die, what it is to be dead, and what might happen next. And I remember this fucking film as being something that really fucking resonated with me. And there's another film. Have you guys ever seen that film, What Dreams May Come?
Oh my God.
That
Robin
was
Williams
with
is brilliant.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scene where he goes to hell and
Yeah,
gets his wife
yeah.
back. Fucking the biggest tear-jerking moment in history.
It's about
Wait,
creating
he's
your
spoiling
own
it. I don't know what that
reality.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
Chat, that movie is Robin Williams' character dies, and he essentially it goes to heaven, but he finds out his wife's soul is actually in
Yeah.
hell because she killed herself after he died and his kids died.
Yeah,
And the whole
then
movie
he
is
has to
basically-
go. He has to go after her to fucking rescue her from
He
suicide.
wants to rescue her soul
Yeah.
from
It is-
hell.
Yeah, yeah.
And all that stuff. So
Gabe
that's the
say
movie.
spoiler alert for a 27-year-old movie.
So it's
Dude,
good.
watch it.
I'm sorry.
If-
I'm
Dude,
sorry.
it's also-
Is that a problem that I'm
Yeah.
fucking referencing
I think
27-year-old
the movie.
movies?
I think that
It's also
No,
really
sorry.
but he's saying it
Sorry.
was a problem. I was
Okay,
saying spoiler
let me
alert.
just be very. Let me be very clear. I'm 53 years old, son. I'm gonna
That's like
remember
Gabe
the
said
movies from
spoiler
a long
alert, and I was
time
like,
ago.
well, no, Gabe said
I'm
spoiler
younger
alert, and I
than-
was like,
you're
I
younger
was like,
than
Gabe's,
me.
Gabe saying spoiler alert for a 27-year-old movie.
But
Yes, Yad is making fun of that. Real quick, chat says George Romero is their favorite director and when they said about what happens after you die, they say zombies. That's what chat is saying.
And yeah, well,
Yeah.
chat
George
is
Romero.
full of shit, and it's not.
Oh,
zombies.
damn. Sorry, Slow Cook Live. You're full of
Chat
shit.
needs to fucking get its shit together.
But yeah, if you haven't seen What Dreams May Come, you have to watch it because
It's
it
a
It's
good
is.
movie.
a fucking beautiful
recommend it. It's a
fucking
great
movie.
movie.
It's a
Yeah.
top 5
Beautiful
movie of all
fucking
time.
I think what's
It is.
interesting is how they imagined heaven being a painting, essentially, if I remember correctly, that movie.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
it's your own
their
painting.
painting
Your
is
own
a part.
painting, yeah,
Your
yes,
painting,
yes.
yeah.
Painting is a part
Right.
of it, but it's
Yeah.
it's about him creating his own world because he's
Mhm.
in his own space in fucking the afterlife. And,
Yep.
and his guide, who is Cuba Gooding Jr., who's one of the last times he's actually
you said his name kind of funny.
great fucking example of himself as a fucking actor. He fucking
Yeah.
says, this is what you do. You fucking create your own reality.
Right.
Here,
Yep.
this
What
is
hap-
what you do.
What
Just-
happened to
just
Cuban Gun
imagine
Jr.?
it, and it will be.
Hey, you got into some
And-
trouble.
And the truth
Oh,
is that
yeah.
that's a fucking beautiful goddamn concept.
It was
is.
it was it was it was
it
an
was-
interesting movie for sure. Someone,
Yeah.
oh, wait, hold on. What were we gonna
It was
say?
beautiful.
Real quick, I did want to mention George Romero is a great director, by the way. Like his Mad Max series, especially Fury Road, like was one of the best cinematographies out there.
like-
It's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful.
I was
Well,
not
Fury
big on the
Road
movie.
really is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
good
one where I'm
movie.
gonna
man,
diverge.
It's fucking.
You want to diverge? You
Like-
don't like that movie? You didn't like it?
Well, it's not like I didn't like it. Like
Ooh.
it's like I feel like movies that are just non-stop action violence just don't get me anymore. It's just like
No,
when you
I'm
have,
kind
like-
of, I'm kind of with JP. Look,
Yeah.
I recognize that they're fucking amazing, and they look fucking beautiful. They really
Mhm.
do. They look fucking beautiful. I mean, they're fucking amazing. But I just don't give a shit. I just don't
I feel like
care.
I'm watching the same movie recycled with like
Yeah,
a,
I don't. I
a
just
s- a
don't
slightly
fucking
different
care.
story.
I,
And it's like,
you know, I guess I will only just end it with saying like basically the cinematography is masterful in which how they are able to do
Yeah.
all this action and just keep your
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
It's not like a mess like Transformers or
Like
any of those stuff. Like they
Yeah.
knew how purposely like to keep the eye where it needs to be and everything, like from scene to scene to scene. It's one of the
Michael Bay
best.
Transformers movies are
like,
so
shot
funny,
movie.
though.
Oh, they're just, oh my god.
They're so
George Romero
stupid
didn't
that I
direct
love
Mad
them.
Max.
Like Shia
No,
LaBeouf
I'm
being just a
stupid.
spaz.
I'm sorry, Chad. Yes, George Miller is who did Mad Max. I'm sorry. I'm the dumb. George Romero was a zombie, guys. George Miller is Mad Max. I'm sorry.
well, we got all
I messed
Mad
up.
Max head, so
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
wait. It's kind of near the end of the show, and I wanted to talk to Chris about like Walking Dead a little bit. I never really watched Walking Dead, but I've seen like I was trying to like catch up on it and see like the most important moments. And I think one of the most important moments that happened in Walking Dead that I watched this clip of all these cuts. Your voice actually showed up in it of a line saying like your property now belongs to Negan. Tell me,
Yes.
like what about that scene? Do you think that's one of your most important scenes if you've done or roles you've done? Or tell me a little bit more about kind of like Walking Dead and what that meant to you in your career.
Well, to be honest, man, I auditioned for The Walking Dead like probably maybe 10 times
Oh wow.
oh wow,
before I actually got cast as that character. You know.
Really?
you did so well because that was just like I watched it again today. I'm like, fuck, man, that was. It's just like haunting. Cause like you're like, I'm gonna let you guys go. Oh
So-
wait.
So when I actually auditioned for that role, they gave me a completely different. It was a completely different line reading and scene reading for that role. Like they didn't allow me to know what that role was at all.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I did it,
Okay.
and I got cast. And when I showed up for, that role, they didn't give me the script at all. I didn't have any idea what I was going to do the next day. And so when I showed up the next day, they gave me the sides. And when I say sides, what sides mean are the role you're gonna, the lines you're gonna to read that day. And I had them, and it was okay, cool, and I did them. And I didn't have a chance to figure out what I was gonna do with this character, so I just had to take a chance and be that character. And so I was.
Wow.
All right. Well, anyway, we are actually at
That
time.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris, honestly, thank you so much. A lot of things that you said
Yeah.
were great.
It's
Honestly,
been one of my
you were-
favorite episodes.
Yeah, there it is.
okay.
There you go.
Yadu has spoken.
Yadu has spoken.
Yeah.
Gen Z has spoken.
Gen Z
Yes.
correspondent has.
Okay,
Gen Z
well.
spoken.
Yes.
So
Fair
you might be clipped a bunch by Gen Z and brain rot clips. So who knows?
Well, hey, listen. If you wanna hit me up, I will tell you more about it.
For
Nice.
sure.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Hit me up, bro. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
let's
this
end
is
the
cool.
let's end the live stream and let's
Another
talk a little bit
Oh,
more.
this
Hold
is
on, let's
something I
end the
think we
live
should
stream.
start
man.
doing at the end of our shows, but I think we should have our guests plug their socials. So, like, where can
Oh,
they
yes.
find you? Where can they find you?
If
Instagram,
you want to be
Twitter?
found.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
if you want to be found.
yeah.
He's a fucking actor. He wants to be found, doesn't he?
Oh man, I'm not to be found.
There it is.
Yeah, I know that about him. I
As
know
soon
that about
as-
him.
Yeah, as soon as Gabe said
he was
that.
Yeah, I'm not to
Yeah.
be found.
All right.
mean,
well, let
yeah,
us
no,
let us
you
close
can't
this
find
out.
me.
Close out the stream.